Here I am presenting over advances in food processing and preservation by canning. Preservation of food in a permanent hermetically sealed container like glass, jar, pouches and tin through the application of heat as a principal factor in the preservation of spoilage is termed as canning. The process of canning is also called sterilization because of the heat treatment of food which eliminates all kinds of microorganisms which can spoil the food and are harmful to humans. Canned products have a shelf life of at least 2 years at ambient temperature. Now I am discussing about the present status of canning in India. Likewise in India, the fruit and vegetable industry is able to utilize only 2.1% of total production for conversion into value added products like juices, squashes, cordial, pulps, jams, jellies, pickles and chutneys, while in developed countries it is around 40 to 60% utilizations. The next one is in India, the fruit and vegetable processing factory was established at Bombay in 1935 and later on it was followed up by setting up units in Madras, Kolkata, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. The government of India has also established National Horticultural Board for increasing production of fruits and vegetables and their preservation to reduce the post-harvest losses. A Fruit and Preservation and Canning Institute was also established at Lucknow in 1939 by the our government of India. Here I am showing you a general flowchart of canning which includes selection of fruits and vegetables. Later on it is washed, peeled and sorted. Sorting is done in which the food products with inferior quality are discarded. Coring and cutting, then blanching, then cooling, then filling. In case of fruit, syrup is used, while in case of vegetables, brine is used, having concentration of 1.3%. Then exhausting is done. Exhausting is the procedure in which the gases are removed. It is a process of removal of air from the cans and it also helps in avoiding corrosion of tin plate and pinholing during storage and to minimize the discoloration by preventing oxidation and retain the vitamin, particularly vitamin C, so much. The next step is sealing and later on acid processing is performed. In processing the food product with acidity, the temperature is maintained at 100 degrees Celsius, while for non-acidic food it is 115 to 121 degrees Celsius. The processing is generally the time and temperature combination which should be made optimum to eliminate the bacteria. Overcooking or undercooking should be avoided because in case of overcooking it doesn't retain the sensory quality of the product. Later on it is cooling. The cooling is performed in which the food product is cooled to 39 degrees Celsius and then labeling and storage is done. These are some of the equipments which is used in canning industry like pineapple core, slicing machine, exhaust boxes, cans, retort boxes, labeling machines, seaming devices and cans, pile of cans. According to National Center for Home Food Preservation and Food Spoils or lose their quality due to bacteria, mold and yeast or due to activity of food enzymes or due to reaction with oxygen or moisture loss. When preserving and canning is done not properly, then it can lead to the growth of pathogenic bacteria like Clostridium botulinum. But in case if it is done properly, then it removes oxygen, destroys enzymes, prevents the growth of microbes, and helps to form a vacuum in jars, which keeps the liquid and air and microorganisms out. Some of the factors which affect scanning are time and temperature combination, physical state of the raw material like whether it is in solid state or liquid state or whether the food is rich in sugar, fat or starch, consistency, altitude. For every increase of 152 meter above the mean sea level in altitude, the boiling point of water decreases by 1 degree Celsius and the processing time is increased by 2 minutes. The fullness of pack, initial temperature of food, heat resistance of microorganisms or enzymes likely to be present in the food, and pH. pH is actually a inherent value of food commodity which influence the processing schedule to achieve required destruction of microbes. On the basis of pH, food are classified into four groups: low acid foods, medium acid foods and high acid foods. Low acid foods are those foods in which the pH lies between 5.0 to 6.8, medium acid foods 4.5 to 5.0. For acidic foods it is 3.7 to 4.5. For high acidic foods, it is 3.7 to 2.3. So on the basis of the pH of the food, the processing time and temperature combinations differs. There are two types of canning generally, pressure canning and water bath canning. For pressure canning, generally those foods are used which having a low acidity, that is pH above 4.6, undergo sterilization by canning under pressure and high temperature. It includes meat, fish, vegetables and seafood and poultry. And the next one is water bath canning, in which the only food that can be safely canned in boiling water bath are highly acidic foods with pH below 4.6, and it includes fruits and vegetables and pickled vegetables also. There are effects of canning on canned foods like on color, flavor and aroma, nutritional value, texture and viscosity. So first of all, we will discuss about the its effect on color. The time and temperature combination used in canning have effect on naturally occurring pigments in food. Like in chlorophyll, it is converted to pheophytene. Carotenoids are isomerized from 5,6 epoxy to less intensely colored 5,8 epoxides, and anthocyanins are degraded to brown pigments. Discoloration of canned food during storage occurs, for example, when iron or tin react with anthocyanin to form a purple pigment, or when colorless leucoanthocyanins form pink anthocyanin complexes in some varieties of pears and quinces. The same as in case of flavor and aroma, there are complex changes in canned meats like pyrolysis can occur, deamination can occur, decarboxylation of amino acids and degradation occurs. In fruits and vegetables, changes are due to complex reactions which involves degradation, recombination and volatilization of aldehyde, ketones, sugar, lactones and amino acids. Nutritional value. In nutritional value, canning causes the hydrolysis of carbohydrates and lipids, but these nutrients remain available and the nutrient value of the food is not affected. Effect of canning on food: proteins are coagulated, and in canned meats losses of amino acids are around 10 to 20%. Reduction in lysine content are also proportional to the severity of heating, which we don't exceed or rarely exceed 25%. And the effect of canning on texture and viscosity is like in canned meats, coagulation and loss of water holding capacity of protein occurs, which produces shrinkage and stiffening of effects of canning of food proteins, which produces shrinkage and stiffening of muscle tissues. And the later on, the texture of solid fruit and vegetable pieces is softened than the unprocessed food due to solubilization of pectic materials and a loss of cell texture, but it is considerable firmer than canned products. There are some kinds of spoilage in canned foods. When the spoilage of canned foods, according to the condition and content of can, it is swelling, flipper, springer, leakage, overfilled can, and hydrogen cell. In case of swelling, the bulging of both can ends by positive internal pressure due to gas generated by the microbial or chemical activity. In case of flipper, a can with normal appearance, but one end flips out when the can is struck against a solid object but snaps back to the normal under light pressure. In a springer, a can bulges from one end, which if forced back into normal position, the opposite end bulges. Overfilled cans are those which are convex in due to overfilling, and hydrogen swelling are those conditions in which the hydrogen gas is formed in cans due to internal corrosions or the scratches. It occurs mainly in acidic foods, and it is rarely seen in canned meat, like and shows also a varying degree of bulging. Microbial and the second one is the spoilage of canned food according to the cows. That is like microbial spoilage where gas and non-gas producing aerobic and anaerobic microbes are there. Flat souring and sulfiding. Sulfiding is a situation in which the reaction of sulfur containing proteins with liberated hydrogen sulfide from bacterial spoilage with the order of rotten eggs. Aseptic canning is the advancement of canning. It is a technological advancement of canning which was developed by Martin in 1950. Here, sterilized food is aseptically filled in pre-sterilized cans and later on sealed in an aseptic environment. This method avoids the typical step like in-can thermal processing and subsequent cooling of can. Here, for to sterilize the food, flash pasteurization is used, and it involves generally four steps which are carried out in a sequential manner in a closed interconnected apparatus. The first one is sterilization of food by appropriate flash heating, holding and cooling. Second one is sterilization of cans and lids with superheated steam. Next one is aseptic filling of cooled sterile foods into sterile cans and aseptic sealing of cans with lids. And there are also some innovations in the packaging filled for canned food products, like in as the canned food is the growing demand for the food market. So with the increase in demand for chemical free canned food products, manufacturers are focusing on innovations in packaging and started offering food containers which is generally free from BPA. Tata Steel has came with a new idea, that is a brilliant idea, where the overall reduction in the use of preservative is performed by transportation and storage of fresh produce with a little chemical in the ground and water. There is no water used during can production, no volatile organic compounds emissions, and the cans themselves are fully recyclable, which fits perfectly with Tata Steel vision of sustainability. This aim is that 2 years from now, and the mobile canning truck hit the market, it will present an invaluable opportunity to the government and grocery chains alike to bring prosperity to farmers. They will also aid vastly improving the quality of produce available to the end consumers. The main concept of Tata Mobile canning was to cut the food loss. Across the world, a third of fruit and vegetable is lost before it even reaches the consumer. So Tata Steel Mobile can making concept has been developed to tackle this issue. In India, 44% of food harvested is lost before it reaches the consumer in the during handling, during storage, processor and processing and packaging stages. So in alone in India, it has the potential to save 84 million tons of food per year by accepting this technique of mobile canning. There are some of the researches on advancement in canning, which tells about the online retort control and automation in thermal processing of canned food and use of sophisticated softwares for the advancement in canning has been performed. The market trend of canned food products. The canned food market is projected to grow from 17 billion in 2023 to 25.6 billion by 2033 at a CAGR of 4.2% in forecast period. As per Canned Food Market Survey report of 2022, canned seafood is a major revenue generating product type. The canned fruit and vegetable segment is projected to register a CAGR, that is a compound annual growth rate of 4.5% over the forecasted years, that is in 2000 up to the 2033. From here, we can conclude that in an ever expanding global market, the need for technological advances, which leads to increased productivity, better product quality, as well as enhancement of the safety assurance, all at a lower and lower cost, advances in automation, intelligent online control will continue at a rapid pace. New developments that are likely to occur soonest will be the application of computer-based retort control system for online correction of process deviations. Thank you so much.